and then sort of some human arm code down the side of the track.
How times change. Last few cars coming into position then. We'll watch to what Andy Hiley can do from the back. I think he's just going to try and keep out of trouble, having wrapped up the championship.
Rob Johnston would be interesting. If he can get any grip, he could actually benefit from this, because he's got a pretty clear view down the right-hand side of the track. Richard Fors won't need a second invitation to get away well.
He won't. So 5-second board has been shown by the start line marshal. Red lights go on, and away we go. And it's a good start by Paul Boyd from the outside of the front row. Not a great start by Fors and Johnston, some of the drivers on that right-hand side of the circuit, so possibly not that much grip there. So it's Berris that has gone streaking off, well, into second place. He's behind Paul Boyd, and Martin Gambling has got away pretty well from the outside of the grid. From row 4, he has got up into third position in the Eclipse there. So Paul Boyd it is that leads up at Wilson Hairpin for the first time. Most of them following through. Paul Collingwood there, you can see in the dark grey Eclipse in the middle of the pack.
That's a sort of Eclipse Evo, isn't it? With a sort of great flat tray of an aero thing at the back. 20's going backwards, isn't it?
That's Conroy's Sienna.
That's not going very well.
Being passed by, amongst others, the Colin Benham Fulcrum, isn't it? That one. So here they go. You've got the Ben Coles FRS Arrow going through shot as well. Great variety, and highly you can see.
Yep, it's up a few paces at the back, and expect that to continue.
I think Steve Wells will be quite pleased with these conditions, because he was saying yesterday that he enjoys driving in the wet, so it's getting a little bit wetter for him now.
He lives on a little island, so it probably rains there quite a lot.
Yes, absolutely. So it is Boyd leading the way then. He's already down at Oggies as these are just making their way through Agostini. There's our third place man on shot now, Martin Gambling, in the number 99 Eclipse, just ahead of number 90, Richard Fors in the Pro Column LA Gold Beauty, driven by Steve Lansley. And then just in behind him, it's the 74 car, which is Steve Wells in that Sub-Zero, through Williams and on to the Bentley Straight for the first time in this 13-minute plus 1 lap race then. And it is the 35 car of David Winter, bound to be passed by Anton Landon there as they go down the Bentley Straight.
Yeah, Landon Sienna really has some grunt, doesn't it? And once he got hooked up down the straight, he made a couple of places very, very easily, and he's going to be tucked in, I think, behind Paul Collingwood. But there we've got 90, Richard Fors, fresh from his historic racing last weekend. He led us elite at Castle Combe, and he continues. There is that tussle with Collingwood. 64 there is the white Sienna, moving up well. And
the car behind it is Stuart Thompson in the Caterham, but who's that?
That is Collingwood, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Collingwood, who's gone very wide into the field there.
So a great circle line out of Nelson that didn't really work very well, because he's still scrangling around on the grass.
Now Steve Wells trying quite a different line out of Morris, but it doesn't get him ahead of Gambling. So at the end of lap 1, it's Paul Boyd that is leading in number 17. From in second place to number 40, our double winner in the Armed Forces Challenge yesterday, Darren Berris. In third place, number 90, Richard Fors. In fourth place, number 99, Martin Gambling. In fifth place, it's 74, Steve Wells. In sixth place, then it is 64, Anton Landon. Seventh is 82, Rob Johnston. Ninth is 16, Stuart Thompson. So he leads Class B at the moment from David Winter and Chris Pike, who's the man that's pretty best placed to wrap up the Class B Championship this weekend.
It was Pike yesterday, wasn't it, who came through right at the very end to nick it from Thompson.
Yeah, right on the last lap. It looked like Thompson was finally going to get his first win of the year. Although he's been leading Class B Championship for most of the season, he's not actually won a race during the course of 2019. So there's Paul Boyd from Darren Berris in second place in that Westfield. Third then is Fors, who a moment ago went quite deep into the hairpin at Wilson. And then it's the 99 car of Gambling with Wells on the inside of him here. Is that going to work out for him? It is.
Quite nicely. And let's see as the switcheroo comes on the exit. And the red Gambling car goes back ahead of Stephen Wells, going down towards Hamilton, which is quite tricky in these conditions.
He's going to have a big twitch there for the Eclipse of Gambling, former Compact Cup racer, of course. He's been in this car for about 2 years now. Gave it a debut, I think, at Thruxton in August 17.
It's a low-cost man as well, wasn't he?
He was, briefly, yes, before the Compact Cup. So he's been racing with the 750 Motor Club for a few years, on and off. So they are turning their way onto the Bentley Straight and down towards Brundle and Nelson for the second time in this race. There's Fours. He's quite a long way ahead of these two now.
Yeah, they're scrapping, aren't they? And you'd have thought that the aerodynamics of the Eclipse would probably favour Martin Gambling in the drag race for what is 4th place. There it is, the 99 car. Had Stephen Wells and the white 74, the Sub-Zero.
We've just had one retirement to the pits, by the way. That's the Mark Conroy, number 20.
He's had a miserable weekend, hasn't he?
He has, really.
Not finished yesterday either. The Advanced Automotive car goes into the bomb hole with a dab on the brakes and round the outside like a Buffalo Girl he goes.
Yep, and he's got that move done, hasn't he? So that's very nicely done from Stephen Wells. He goes up into 4th position as a result of that, but he's now got quite a gap to make up to Richard Fours. Over the line has come our race leader, Paul Boyd. His lead extending that time to almost 4 seconds over Darren Berris, but Fours in 3rd place, laps a bit quicker than Berris. And in a straight line, Gambling looking to go back ahead of Wells for 4th position. There's now yellow flags though, so I'm wondering if one of our top 3 has had come a cropper on the exit of Richards. The yellow flags have now gone in again, so maybe it's just someone running a bit wide, but we'll see if there's a change in the order in a moment. There's Fours, erstwhile 3rd place man, and I think he still is in 3rd position. And there's the fight for 4th, Wells and Gambling turning through Wilson now for the 3rd time. Gambling with that number 99 Eclipse. He's had 2 wins this season as Martin Gambling.
His Eclipse has a large Venturi at the back of it, doesn't it? An attempt to create some downforce, whereas the Collingwood one that needed the downforce at Nelson a lap ago or so is out of contention.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So where has he come through, if at all? He's not inside the top 20, is he?
Haven't seen the all-conquering Stuart Much in the MEV, who blew them all into the weeds in the wet at Silverstone in August. That's running in the middle of the field.
Now here's Andy Hiley. He's just getting in amongst the Class B cars. He's come through from the back. He was 11th at the beginning of this lap. He's just gone past Stuart Thompson. He was 8th. So it looks like Andy Hiley therefore has gone up into 8th position from the back of the grid. And what lap time's he doing? He's doing 2:44s. The leader's doing 2:41s as they make their way through. That we did briefly see the MEV there of Stuart Much, to your delight, no doubt, Marcus, as you're talking about it. So there is Stuart Thompson and there is David Winter. This is for the Class B lead, and then behind them the car with the blue roll cage, you could just momentarily see in shot there. There he is, that's Chris Pike. So this is the 3-way battle for the Class B lead. It's also the battle for the Class B championship title as well, which is still to be decided. Chris Pike has been the man in from, I think we worked out, 1/8 of the last 9 rounds, or certainly the 8 of the 9 rounds he's competed in so far. Meanwhile, here's Hiley. He's closed the gap there to Rob Johnston too now. Yeah,
so he's running just outside the top 7 at the moment, and he's going to, I'm sure, end up in the top 6. There's 35 there in the battle. That's David Winter, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just got ahead of Stuart Thompson down the Bentley Straight into the Brundle and Nelson complex that time, so he goes ahead of Thompson, still winless then in Class B this season. And then Chris Pike, who, I say, left it until the last lap yesterday to get through to take victory in Class B. I wonder if he might do the same thing here. 3.5 minutes plus 1 lap left to go in this race around the Snetterton 300 circuit.
Wells is going cleanly now. He can't catch Richard Fours by the looks of things. So he was 0.3 quicker last time through, but he's 6 seconds down.
Okay, so 5 seconds is the lead for Paul Boyd. In 2nd place it's Darren Berris. In 3rd place it's Richard Fours. In 4th place Stephen Wells. Martin Gambling is 5th, and Anton Landon is in 6th position. That's the way of it, with 2 3/4 minutes left to go.
Yeah, there's the 53, which is Andy Hiley, the champ, in 7th place now. And and he will get into the top 6 before the end of the race. Certainly the present progress. 2:43, 7 seconds quicker than Anton Landon ahead of him last time through, 8 quicker than Martin Gambling, and on the same basic pace as Wells and Fours, who are 4th and 3rd respectively.
So Thompson, Winter and Pike in that little battle at the moment.
And Thompson's back ahead then, isn't he?
Yeah.
Got back ahead before the end of the lap.
It's Winter of those 3 that has got the best lap so far. So I'm going to feed this into my spreadsheet in a moment to work out how things might change. Oh, and that's the 67 car, Ben Coles.
That's the Arrow, FRS Arrow.
John Moore originally designed and built the first of those cars. But that's come to a stop, yes, just on the exit of Palmer, on the circuit, unfortunately. It looks like he's trying to get that restarted, judging by the way the rain light is going off and on again, but it looks like he's struggling, and that's not a very good place.
No, difficult for the marshals to get to him with such a large field. Car's just stopped, he's in it, it's fine, but unfortunately it doesn't want to be heaved off the circuit.
Just looking at how the Class B battle is going, 3rd place for Pike will be absolutely fine for him to wrap up the championship by about 5 points, I reckon. So I think he's perhaps just sitting there, not risking anything. Red flag now goes out, and I think that will probably mark the end of that race as well, because we'd had 12 minutes of it. 4 laps had just been completed by Paul Boyd, and that is because we've got that Ben Coles car. The Arrow is pointing in the right direction, but it's not going anywhere. And I imagine he's been all a-quiver in that car trying to get it restarted.
See what he did there, very clever.
But he is in a relatively dangerous position, you would say, or towards the middle of the circuit on the exit of Palmer. No way for the marshals to get that to move it. So it's going to be one of those classic cases of the red flags come out and he'll drive off in any moment now. But I think little alternative there for the other than for the officials to bring a premature halt to that one, which is a great shame. And that being the case, that will confirm then, by my reckoning, Chris Pike as the Class B champion, although he will be no better than 3rd in this particular race, the overall championship having already been decided.
So it's going to provide Stuart Thompson with that craved win, isn't it?
It is. Now they are sending cars, yes, straight into Parc Fermé. Hopefully, though, because I think our top 3 had already gone through, we'll get our class winners brought in. But we'll wait and see what happens. Hopefully, we'll be able to hear from our top 3, maybe some class winners as well with Matt afterwards. But yes, so the win will go to Paul Boyd, number 17, from number 40. Darren Berris in 2nd place. This all subject to the official confirmation when the results are wound back a lap. 3rd place to number 90, Richard Fours. 4th place to number 74, Stephen Wells. 5th to number 99, Martin Gambling. 6th to 64, Anton Landon. 7th to 53, Andy Hiley. Some doubt over that, I would think, when the results get wound back. But then 8th, 16, Stuart Thompson. 9th, 35, David Winter. And 10th, 25, Chris Pike. Best of the Mazda low cost on this occasion looks to have been James Millman, number 63. He came home in 11th place, so that's further up the order than Ben Powney, who's won half a dozen of those races during the course of this season. So we've had the checkered flag shown to the drivers as they've come into the pit lane, and that will mean that a result is declared, and we'll hear from our top 3 very shortly. So that's the last round of the Protech Shock Sports Specials Championship, with that have raced on the same grid as the Mazda Low Cost this year, or probably better put it the other way around. The Mazda Low Costs have joined them on the grid, joined Sports Specials on the grid, but Mazda Low Cost looking possibly to have their own field for next season if enough of those cars are attracted out for 2020. They can see the cars heading into the pit lane. Hopefully we'll have the top 3 brought in to stop just adjacent to the podium here, and we'll hear from our race winners very shortly. Still lots more racing to come here at Snetterton today. We've got the Royal Purple Hot Hats Championship coming up next, then the Classic Stock Hats Championship as well, and then the first of our 2 races for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. as the day moves on. Yes, I can see now the Ben Coles arrow from our country box window. That is being pulled away by one of the Snetterton recovery vehicles, so that's not taken too long to clear up, but it just couldn't safely be done without either a safety car or a red flag, and it was too late into the race to contemplate a safety car being brought out. So I can now see Paul Boyd, number 17, and Darren Berris, number 40, and Richard Fors, number 90, making their way down the pit lane, and they will be brought into victory lane, and then, or not as the case may be. No, they've all gone into Parc Ferme now. Yes, well, Paul Boyd has, but we do have the Darren Berris car, and we do have Richard Fors having stopped down there, so we have second and third at least, and Paul Boyd. We usually a man of few words. Perhaps opted not to have a conversation with Matt Suckling on this occasion. So I think we've possibly got our Class B winner down there as well, Class B champion. We've got the Mazda low-cost winner as well, hopefully. But watch those drivers get out of the cars, and let's see if Matt Suckling is down in the pit lane and ready to talk to us.
Attention padders. If any remaining cars for race 15, the Royal Purple Hot Hatch Championship, please make their way to the area now. Any remaining cars for race 15, the Royal Purple Hatch Championship. Thank you.
So we'll start with our Class C winner, which is Stuart Munch, who joins us now on the podium. Stuart, congratulations out there for winning Class C. A little bit of a tricky afternoon for you.
It was horrible. It was so slippery, slow, greasy. Couldn't get any grip. And with us being turbo as well, every time you touch the accelerator, the back end wants to spin. So it was just limping it round, making sure finish and get the championship points.
Do you think that was the right call then to red flag the race?
Yeah, well, we were hoping there was no injuries, no damage or anything, but yeah, it's just a red flag because of the conditions, thankfully. Everyone survives.
But Matt, at least you made it to the end of the race, and a nice way to end your season.
Yes, definitely, yeah. I think I've done enough points to get the class win as well, so yeah, it's been a decent season. But yeah, got to thank BS Motorsport for building me a decent engine, and Freaky Parts for sponsoring us through the season as well.
Great stuff. Well done, Stuart. You can now jump down and we'll get a next man up. I think we've got another Stuart who's going to join us on the podium next up, which is going to be Stuart Thompson, who is winner of Class B. So come and join us, Stuart, and have a little chat about how that race went. Again, as we said with Stuart there, it's a little bit tricky out there, and Class B honours for you in those wet weather conditions.
Yeah, it was very tricky. It was worse than yesterday, and yesterday was tricky enough. But to be fair, me and David, we had a cracking race and overtook each other a few times, left each other space. But yeah, it was difficult. I'm glad the red flags came out when they did anyway.
And how has the Class B Championship been for you this year?
Well, I think I've just finished second, but that's my first win of the year, so end of season with that, so it's good. Not
bad, and looking forward to 2020. Do you reckon you'll be back for some more?
Yeah, definitely. We're doing exactly the same next year. Yeah.
Great stuff. Well done, Stuart. Congratulations. You can now jump off the podium and go and join the rest of the guys down now. I think we're going to have a winner next up from Class A as well, which is Paul Boyd. So Paul, with everything in hand, garland, race helmet, winner's cap. Well done. How was that race for you?
Interesting. No, as soon as it started raining, it was quite funny because everybody had changed to dry tyres just before that race. So I was quite happy. And
of course, for you, the championship probably out of the question for this race. So you just went out there and tried to get the win.
It is, yeah. Just went out there, tried to get a win, have some fun. It was fun.
And how's the season been for you overall?
It's been a good season. Ups and downs. Couldn't do one of the races, so that's made a big difference. But overall, it's always good fun.
Great stuff. Well done to you. You can now go and celebrate. Well done, Paul. You can relax and enjoy the rest of the action here today at Snetterton. And we're now going to have our Mazda low-cost winner by the looks of it, which is going to be James Millman. So James can jump up. Is James about? Here he is, James Millman, who wins the Mazda low-cost part of the race. Well done, James. Congratulations there on your victory in the Mazda low-cost. How was that race for you?
Yeah, it's a bit wet, really. Just trying to stick it on the track and not crash. So, no good to get a win, and the low-cost Mazda's be a good championship for next year. Lots
of cars out there as well, which is quite tricky to deal with these conditions as well.
Yeah, especially at different speeds. Obviously, we're one of the slower ones, so it's just trying to keep out of trouble. But, no, good to survive and good to get a win.
Great stuff. Well done, James. You can now jump off and join the rest of the guys as well. There you go then. That's the podium done for this race. We're now going to move on with our next championship, which is going to be time for the Hot Hatch Championship.